So we'll try example 4 next. Number 4 is actually a combination of 2 questions. The first one is inside the parentheses. We'll do that first. Sine of 5 pi over 3. Once we have that answer, then we'll do the second part of the question, which is arc sine of whatever we get. So sine of 5 pi over 3 I'll do first, and I'll go to my unit circle. I'll go to 5 pi over 3, which is there. Sine is the y value, so it's that, negative square root of 3 over 2. So just what's in the parentheses is negative square root of 3 over 2. And then I have to finish the problem, which is arc sine of that. So I did part 1. Now I have a new problem, arc sine of that. So for arc sine, I look on the right half of the circle. I look at all the y values till I find that. And there it is. And my answer is going to be the angle that gives me. It is 5 pi over 3, but when you are looking at arc sine, when we talked about the range here, it says it has to be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, which means anything in this quadrant, quadrant 4, we're going to write as negative angles instead of the positive angles that are written in the unit circle. So I'll explain what that means. This is pi over 6. Instead of 11 pi over 6, we're going to call that negative pi over 6. So we're going to use the angle measure but negative for all of these. So pi over 6, negative pi over 6. Pi over 4, negative pi over 4. Pi over 3, we're going to use negative pi over 3 here instead of 5 pi over 3. So we're using the negative angle because that's the range that it told us we have to stay in. So instead of 5 pi over 3, we're just going to rename that a different coterminal angle, which is the negative version of it. So if you want to write this down, for arc sine, your possible angle measures would be 0, pi over 6, or negative pi over 6, pi over 4, or negative pi over 4, pi over 3, or negative pi over 3, pi over 2, or negative pi over 2. Those are your only possible answers for arc sine and actually arc tangent as well. Possible answers. Okay? Now we'll try example 5 on the next video.